In the world of intrigue and betrayal on The Young and the Restless, the story of Claire Newman has become one of the most remarkable, captivating characters. Once a sweet and innocent young girl, Claire has now become a cold-hearted schemer with a single goal: to destroy her vengeful aunt, Jordan. But what caused Claire to change 180 degrees? And is she really the villain she seems? From innocence to coldness. When viewers first meet Claire, she is the ideal model of a young person with a kind heart and an undying belief in the goodness of humanity. Claire always tries to keep the Newman family in harmony, despite the constant turmoil that occurs around her. However, such innocence cannot last long in a world where intrigue and hatred are obvious. Claire's transformation begins when her vengeful aunt Jordan returns to town. Jordan, with a clear goal of destroying the Newman family, commits a series of crimes that put the family in dire straits. Claire initially maintains her faith in her aunt, but Jordan's actions gradually cause her to question that faith. One by one, Claire's naivete is stripped away, and she finally accepts that in order to protect her family, she must change. And this change comes as a storm. A fateful encounter. When Claire meets Jordan, things begin to become clearer. When Claire encounters Jordan in an unexpected situation at Crimson Lights, the town's favorite coffee shop. Jordan, cleverly disguised, is still unable to fool Claire's keen senses. A small detail, an announcement to order oolong tea, makes Claire aware of the presence of the aunt who has caused her family so much pain. A strong feeling immediately puts Claire on high alert. Instead of confronting her, she chooses a more subtle approach. Claire begins to pretend to be friendly, hiding her hatred behind a facade of kindness and gratitude to see Jordan again. In a dramatic moment at the park, Claire skillfully plays her part, making Jordan believe that she has turned her back on the Newman family. This is the first step in Claire's elaborate plan to destroy Jordan once and for all. The right reason behind the revenge plan. Claire's change is not simply the result of personal events, but also stems from her responsibility to protect her family from the dangers Jordan brings. Over the years, Jordan has continuously sought revenge on the Newman family for the grudges from the past. Despite being imprisoned many times, Jordan always finds a way to escape and return with his cruel plans. For Claire, killing Jordan is not only an act of revenge, but also the only way to ensure her family's safety. The pent-up emotions, from anger to grief, have forged a new Claire, a Claire willing to sacrifice everything to deal with her family's greatest threat. Although her actions may seem cruel, when looking deeper into the reasons, viewers cannot help but sympathize with what she is going through. A woman with two faces, the perfect act. Claire not only changes her attitude but also shows a rare cunning when dealing with Jordan. Her ability to act and manipulate the emotions of others has become her strongest weapon. She begins to build a fake story, making Jordan believe that she has abandoned the Newman family and is willing to help her aunt. However, behind this facade, Claire secretly gathers evidence and plans step by step to trap Jordan. She uses Jordan's trust to turn the tables, turning her enemy into her prey. Claire understands that to defeat Jordan, she must outsmart him in both cunning and patience. The final confrontation. The story builds to an inevitable climax, as Claire finally confronts Jordan in a suffocating situation. Claire's hatred and love for her family clash, and she is forced to make a difficult decision: should she end it all right there? The tension of the confrontation comes not only from the threats, but also from the complicated relationship between the two women. Jordan, despite his cunning, is still an undeniable part of Claire's life. But Claire now understands that sometimes, keeping a relationship can mean putting the people she loves in danger. With intelligence and a strong will, Claire makes the decision she believes is the best for the future of her family. In the complex and secretive world of The Young and the Restless, Claire Newman is gaining attention with a surprising, contradictory and confusing transformation. Claire, once the epitome of innocence, is now a mysterious figure with unpredictable plots. She is both joking and laughing intimately with Kyle and plotting a ruthless plan to take down her aunt, Jordan. This contradiction makes the audience wonder, who is Claire really, and what is going on inside her? Suspicious signs and strange behavior lately. Claire has been spending a lot of time with Jordan, a woman she cut off contact with over a year ago. Her proactive approach to Jordan, who has caused pain to the Newman family, has made everyone around her suspicious. In particular, Claire and Jordan do not just meet in a normal way, they also reminisce about old memories, including the dark lessons Jordan taught Claire. Among them, there are the skills of scheming and even how to poison others. The question is, will these reminiscences awaken the dark side of Claire's soul? Or is this just a ploy for Claire to exploit Jordan's trust to carry out her plan? Whatever the case, Claire's sudden change in behavior not only worries the Newman family, but also makes viewers constantly analyze every little detail in her every scene. Victoria and Nikki, two opposite perspectives. Claire's change does not escape the eyes of her family, especially her mother, Victoria Newman. Victoria, who is always alert to potential dangers, begins to feel uneasy about her daughter's behavior. She cannot ignore the way Claire describes the specific steps she plans to take to trick Jordan into trusting her, and then end her life. For Victoria, this is not only a dangerous game, but also a sign that Claire may be being pulled back into the darkness that Jordan once instilled in her soul. On the other hand, Nikki Newman, Claire's grandmother, has a more gentle perspective. Nikki believes that Claire would never go so far as to kill Jordan, because she still sees a good side to Claire, despite what she appears to be. However, Victoria and Nikki's arguments about Claire only further clarify the seriousness of the situation. Is Nikki right to trust Claire's good nature, or has Victoria seen something that everyone else tries to ignore? Psychological pressure and the risk of a breakdown. Another question that cannot be ignored is, are Claire's constant interactions with Jordan affecting her mental health? Jordan, with his skillful manipulation, always knows how to lure Claire into difficult situations. The toxic lessons Jordan taught Claire not only leave scars in the past, but also threaten to resurface and take control of her mind. Claire begins to show signs of losing control of her emotions, from yelling at those around her to being harsh when confronting Summer, one of the people closest to her. This transformation not only affects how people perceive Claire, but also makes the audience wonder, have old wounds brought out a completely different person inside her? If Claire cannot escape the spiral of anger and hatred, will this lead to worse actions in the future? The plan to take down Jordan, strategy or revenge? Claire has shown that she is capable of detailed and extremely sophisticated planning. But her constant talk about the steps to trick Jordan into trusting her has everyone feeling cold. She doesn't shy away from detailing every detail, from how she approached Jordan to how she trapped her in an inescapable trap. Claire's unnerving calmness when talking about these plans raises the question, does she really intend to kill Jordan, or is this just a way for her to release pent-up emotions? There's also the possibility that Claire won't end Jordan's life for another reason. Jordan's death could open the door for the character to return in the future. In the world of the young and the restless, nothing is impossible, and characters who seem to have disappeared always find a way to return. But if Jordan survives and continues to exert influence, will this cause Claire to lose her last shred of stability? Claire's dark side, warning or foreshadowing? One of the biggest concerns is that Claire could re-emerge into the dark side she had while living under Jordan's influence. Claire was once easily manipulated, and while she has changed, there is still the risk that the toxic lessons she learned from Jordan could resurface and take control of her. Gradually, seemingly harmless behavior, like yelling at people or confronting Summer, can escalate into something much worse. Claire Newman's sudden and dark change in demeanor is not only unsettling for the Newman family, but also raises questions about how she will interact with those around her. Her relationships with her mother, father, extended family, and even Kyle Abbott and her closest friends are being tested by the different, distant, and unpredictable Claire. Is this just a temporary phase, or is it the beginning of a new, more complicated and dangerous chapter in her life? The Newman family has always been known for internal strife and tumultuous relationships. Claire's new attitude, filled with anger and calculation, is slowly breaking the fragile bond between her and her family members. Her mother, Victoria Newman, has begun to notice the warning signs, especially when Claire becomes irritable and easily loses her temper during normal conversations. Victoria, with her motherly sensitivity, not only feels worried but also wonders if Claire's behavior is the result of deep wounds that she has never expressed. However, trying to approach Claire only makes the relationship between mother and daughter more tense. Claire often avoids her mother's questions or even answers with sharp words, causing Victoria to feel hurt. Meanwhile, her father, Billy Abbott, seems less sensitive to his daughter's changes, thinking that this is just an impulsive youthful phase. But is he underestimating the problem? Claire and Kyle Abbott's romantic relationship is not without its cracks. Previously, Kyle had always loved Claire for her sweet personality and understanding. But now, he finds that the woman he loves is gradually becoming distant and unpredictable. Claire is no longer someone he can easily rely on, but instead, someone who always hides her true feelings. Kyle, patient by nature, tries his best to understand the reasons for Claire's change, but his efforts are often coldly rejected. Claire not only avoids deep conversations, but also overreacts at times, causing Kyle to question their future together. Small conflicts begin to accumulate, and Claire's refusal to acknowledge the problem only complicates things. Claire Newman's transformation from an innocent girl to a strong, cunning woman is a clear testament to the human capacity to overcome adversity. Although Claire has lost her original innocence, she gains the respect of the audience for her determination to protect her family. Claire's story raises a profound question: can cunning actions be forgiven if they are done for a noble cause? And more importantly, can Claire find herself again after overcoming all these challenges? The young and the restless viewers will continue to follow Claire's journey with excitement and curiosity, because this is certainly not the end of this tumultuous story. This makes the audience unable to help but wonder. How far will Claire go in her journey of revenge? Will she overcome the darkness within her, or will she let it control her entire life? And if that happens, could Claire become another version of Jordan himself, one so obsessed with revenge that she is willing to do anything to achieve her goal? Another notable character affected by Claire's new attitude is Harrison Abbott, the intuitive child that everyone loves. Harrison, even at a young age, still senses the changes in the air whenever Claire appears. To him, Claire used to be a gentle and smiling aunt. But now, her presence seems to bring a sense of insecurity, sometimes causing him to retreat. One notable incident might be when Harrison accidentally did something small, like spilling water on Claire's dress, and instead of responding with her usual patience, Claire yelled at him. This not only scared Harrison, but also shocked those around him. Although Claire was able to immediately apologize, the action left a deep impression, causing Harrison to start avoiding her. Conclusion: Claire Newman, light or dark? Claire Newman's journey is currently one of the most complex and fascinating stories on The Young and the Restless. The conflict between her light and dark self not only creates a deep character, but also highlights psychological issues, family, and loyalty. Claire not only fights external enemies, but also the ghosts in her own mind. Whatever path Claire ultimately chooses, her story will surely continue to keep fans talking and thinking. Will she overcome the darkness, or become part of it? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Claire Newman will never be a predictable character. Claire's changes seem to go unnoticed. A few moments of losing her cool, a few sharp responses, these could easily be chalked up to stress or a bad mood. But as these behaviors become more frequent and more pronounced, people begin to realize that this is more than just a temporary change. Her mother, Victoria, becomes increasingly concerned that her daughter is no longer herself. Nikki Newman, Claire's grandmother, who once protected her from criticism, also begins to notice the strain on her family relationships. Meanwhile, Claire's lover, Kyle, feels helpless as he can't connect with the woman he once thought he knew. A signal to a larger plot: Claire's behavioral changes may just be the beginning of a larger, darker plot. It's possible that the darkness inside Claire, which was first brought to light when she lived with Aunt Jordan, is slowly coming to the surface. The toxic lessons Jordan taught Claire may have left a deeper mark than anyone thought. Now, Claire is not only battling the outside world but also the inner demons that haunt her. Will Claire continue to slide downhill and lose every important relationship in her life? Or will she find a way to face her trauma and find herself again? This is the question that viewers will not be able to take their eyes off as the plot continues to develop. An unpredictable future Claire Newman is at a crossroads. On one hand, she has the chance to redeem herself, mend her relationships, and return to the sweet person everyone once loved. But on the other hand, the darkness within her may become too strong, causing her to lose everything she once held dear. Whatever Claire's future holds, one thing is for sure, her story will continue to captivate fans. With her inner complexity and conflicted relationships, Claire Newman is not only a character but also a symbol of the dramatic psychological battles of the young and the restless.